Hi, welcome to Super Joy Live. I'm your co-host, Gabriella Chan.
Hi, I'm Isabella.
Today we'll be looking at the successful college admission results of Super Joy alumni and how Super Joy has helped them in their journey. We hope you enjoy. Today we will be interviewing Maggie, who was admitted to Brown University early decision. Here is an introduction slide that covers some key information about her. And do you mind just introducing yourself really quick?
Okay, hi, my name is Maggie Veron. I'm from Philadelphia area, and yeah, I'm a senior. Yeah, I was accepted into Brown University early decision. So I'm planning on majoring. Well, actually, I applied as well, it's complicated, but I applied as my majors, like my prospective majors was biochemistry and molecular biology and fine arts, like visual arts at Brown, but now I'm kind of like reconsidering some of them, and like my school doesn't require me to declare a major until the end of my second year, so I'm pretty excited to like just explore some random topics.
And could you just include like a specific rundown of your extracurriculars and like stats?
Sure, I'll start with my stats. So I took, I think 14 AP classes, including senior year. I did not have a perfect GPA. I had a couple of B's, but I had like about a cumulative GPA of 3.9, and I tried to take as many like honors classes as I could for my other classes as well. I took the SAT a few times, so it's okay to not be perfect the first time, but I submitted a 1560, so 800 math and 760 English. And yeah, I think those are all the stats. And then for extracurriculars, I participated in some lab research at like a local institute. I did Super Joey, of course, and those are my two major ones. I also participated in some like public art projects in Philadelphia. I guess those are my three major ones. And then the other ones were mostly just school related. So I did like art club. I was an art club officer. I'm vice president of National Art Honor Society. I played varsity tennis all 4 years. And then I was like a member of some other clubs like NHS and like science club. But yeah.
And I guess like from all these extracurriculars, like which one do you feel was the most important to your acceptance?
Honestly, I think it was a combination of like my top three, which were like the lab, Super Joey, and art, because I applied as someone interested in like biochemistry, but also like visual arts. And I feel like, of course, the science and the art was really important, but what really helped my application, I guess, was emphasizing how I wanted to like use these things in like actual society, just like showing that like my interest wasn't just isolated to me locking myself in my room and just working on it independently, but rather like me actually going out and trying to do as much as I could as like a 16, 17-year-old.
Like made you stand out from the other applicants?
Honestly, I would say like essays are super, super important. Like on paper, I feel like most applicants really aren't that different. Like we all have extracurriculars and like activities that were like important to us, like stuff that just took up time. But I think what's really important is like trying to make the school see that you're not just your extracurriculars, if that makes sense. Like that you're like a person behind it, and like the reason you want to show like the reason why you did what you did, not just what you did.
How were you able to express yourself through those essays?
I guess I should start by saying I think that if a school is really a good fit for you, your essays shouldn't be like that hellish to write, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like if you're looking at like a school's supplemental essays and you're like, this is like way too like philosophical or broad for me, just like try to like look into the school more and like see if your values really line up. But for me personally, I loved like the supplemental essay prompts that Brown had. There were like 3 short essays. It's like 250 words, I think, and then some like other like short responses. And honestly, I just had a lot of fun I kept most of them serious, but I also had, like, for example, there was a question about like if I could teach any course at Brown University, what would it be? And I literally just wrote about squirrels because like I like animals and I like bio and stuff. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna write about squirrels because I see them outside my window every day.
What do you think was the role of Super Joy in like your admission?
I think that like Super Joey not only played a really important role in like my what I what my written like just like what my profile looked like, I guess, to colleges, but it honestly helped so much in my actual application process because for Super Joey, like my friend and I, we helped like no, we were like primarily in charge of organizing like a lot of events, kind of just like really having to focus on like time management, like making sure everything is like communicated properly and like clearly and stuff. And I think that time management really helped for my college application process because I didn't find myself like as stressed as I think I could have been. But as a part of my application, I think that the Super Joey Foundation really just kind of helped show that I want to like, study something and then apply it to the world and kind of like use what I learned to help others. I think that was a pretty important part.
Yeah. And what do you think was your greatest accomplishment while volunteering for Super Joey?
Honestly, that's really hard to say. I feel like there's it's been a long time, so there's been a lot that's happened, but I guess what's been the most significant part to me is kind of just like seeing how like Super Joey kind of like grew up and like how a lot of our members like grew up alongside of us. And I thought it was really impactful kind of watching like members who maybe just like start off with like attending a meeting or two, like come and like actively and proactively take on like leadership roles. And I think that like Super Joey's mission is super important. But personally, the most impactful part of the organization to me was watching not only like myself develop this interest towards like helping this cause, but also watching people like others, if that makes sense, and like kind of helping them get there.
Do you have any like hobbies or interests that you did not include in your portfolio?
Well, so Brown is a little bit unique because instead of like an interview process, there's like a video portfolio where you kind of just talk about whatever you want to talk about. So I was able to include a lot of just like side information about like my non-academic, non-extracurricular hobbies. Like I included like an entire 30-second section about like me taking like pictures of the food I eat when I go out with my friends. So, I love Brown. I love Brown for that. But honestly, yeah, I think I covered like a lot of my life. But I will say, I think it's important to like find what's important to you. Like if something isn't that important to you, don't force yourself to be able to talk about it because at the end of the day, like you're just like a profile on a piece of paper or in a video, and there's no way you're going to be able to condense like 17 years of your life into that. So kind of just like focusing on some like of your own core values and how that shows up in your life. I think that's like a pretty good plan to go into like your essays and stuff.
Oh yeah. And I haven't heard of like a video portfolio before, so could you give like a little bit more detail on that? Like
Yeah, sure. So instead of the interview process that a lot of other schools offer, Brown offers like the opportunity to make a video portfolio. It's optional, but it's like highly recommended, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But it's just like a 2-minute video. You're allowed to do whatever you want, talk about whatever you want. It doesn't have to be properly edited or anything. I think the only set requirement is that you say your name at the beginning and like where you're from, basically, like your school and your town. But yeah, it's like a great place to talk about either like elaborate further on extracurriculars you've already mentioned on your application, or to just like talk about other aspects of your life that you think are important but didn't find its way into the essays or anything.
Okay, yeah. And you just talked about like what your life is like outside of academics.
Yeah, mainly. I kind of just like talked about it as like a peek into my life. Just like I didn't talk about academics like at all. I talked about like drawing and like art. I talked about food, like hanging out with my friends. I also like was able to connect like Super Joey into the food part because of the meals of love like we serve at the McDonald house, which was a pretty good connection if I do say so myself. But yeah, honestly, it was a lot of fun and I think the most important part of like the video process is just like not forcing anything. Like if you're like creative in a way that's like video editing savvy, like make the video like super cool. Like that would be really impactful. But if you're not, like that's totally okay too. And there's so many like examples on YouTube of like the different kinds of videos that people were admitted with. But I honestly just think it's like an honest chance to get the reviewer to know you a bit better.
Is there anything that like people should know before they start applying for college?
Um, don't let anyone bully you into something you don't want to do. I feel like that's really important. Like if your parents want you to apply to like 30 colleges and you don't want to do that, just don't do that. Or like try your best not to do that. Because at the end of the day, like you kind of know where you're gonna fit the best. And like other people might like have like outside biases, like, oh, like is it close to home or like what's the school ranking or like like all these like kind of like arbitrary factors for a lot of people. Try not to listen to them that much, and if you only have like 10 schools you would actually go to, just apply to 10 schools. There's like no need in like applying to 20 CP schools. I will say just like find one that you actually would see yourself going to, and then try to focus on your other like schools of interest.
Thanks for chatting with us, Maggie. Congratulations on your acceptance, and we wish you the best in college.